Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about why confidence is key. Wait, actually I'm going to talk about being on a sports team. Or maybe about what we can do to stop climate change? Yet again, I can't decide what to do. Wait, maybe this should be my topic. Indecision. This is exactly what went through my head while trying to decide what I would be presenting in front of you today. Let me tell you, this is the sort of thing that goes through my brain every single day, and I'm not alone. According to the Wall Street Journal, around 1/2 of millennials and 1/3 of all adults struggle with making simple decisions. I think that the most terrifying place for me to be is a restaurant. There's a chain that many of you may know, Happy, or to me, not so happy. The fusion restaurant has an odd blend of Italian, Asian, American, and everything in between. Flipping through the endless amount of pages is a nightmare. I see Asian noodles, that looks good. But then I flip a few pages and there's a big cheeseburger that looks so perfect. Whether it's a small decision like what to order in a restaurant, or a big one like which college to attend, indecision is everywhere, and it can be paralyzing. But what is actually causing the difficulty to decide on one of the multiple choices popping into your head? Two of the main causes of indecision are overthinking and the fear of regret. So let's take a look at the first one, overthinking. There's a concept that many of you may be familiar with, the paradox of choice. The paradox of choice is the idea that having multiple options requires more effort, leading to feeling unsatisfied. This thought of having too many options makes decision-making problematic and stressful. In his book, The Paradox of Choice, American psychologist Barry Schwartz explains why really more is less. There have also been multiple studies proving this paradox, but it all started with some jam. In 1995, Columbia University professor Sheena Iyengar conducted an experiment in a gourmet food market, as you guessed it, selling jam. One day, she and her team set up a stand with 24 different jams to sample. The following day, they set up another stand with only 6 jams to sample. Now take a second to think. If you were walking in a market and saw these 2 stands, which one would be your first instinct? The one with a larger variety, right? Most people would agree with that, as 60% went to the larger one. However, what may surprise you is that only 3% of people ended up buying a jam from the larger stand, whereas 30% of people ended up buying one of the jams they sampled at the smaller stand. Clearly, having more options doesn't always lead to the easiest decision making. It's easy to get in a jam while trying to make a decision. We all experience this. It's called decision paralysis. Decision paralysis is being overwhelmed and constantly overthinking the options. And most times it takes so long to decide that no decision ends up being made at all. Having too many options can make it so difficult to choose, it feels almost impossible. Additionally, even if the options aren't too many, having to make decisions too often can lead to decision fatigue, the phenomenon where repeated decision making starts to feel more and more overwhelming, irritating, and exhausting. This is because of the overload your brain has to process for the estimated 35,000 decisions made a day by an average human. I mean, think about it. In the first hour after you wake up, you have to decide which shoes and jacket to wear, whether you want cereal or eggs for breakfast, if you need your math notebook for the day, and so much more. Now repeat this pattern for the next several hours, and think about that feeling when you get home. Finally, a break to relax. But wait! Now it's time to decide what to eat for dinner. Come on, it never stops. Which should be an extremely simple decision, feels like a life or death situation. The second key factor that leads to indecision is the fear of regret. Many people are scared that they'll make the wrong decision, which leads to either procrastinating or not choosing anything at all. I would end up thinking to myself, what if the other option was better? Even if we chose the Asian noodles, we can't help but think what we missed out on with the big cheeseburger. It can sometimes feel like no matter which choice you make, there's still something to lose or miss out on. But this is just your overthinking talking. Overthinking gets you caught in a world of overanalyzing, being unsure, and constantly having thoughts of regret. So much so that it stops you from just making the decision and enjoying it. Remember, not making a decision is also a decision. So what can we do to stop being so indecisive and take action instead? A great way to start is to have a clear view of your priorities and goals. Understanding what you're trying to accomplish will help cut down time and procrastination. Something else that really helps people is to physically write out their thoughts, like a list of pros and cons, or ranking the different options. This helps to further narrow them down. To cut down decision fatigue specifically, there are a few strong coping strategies. Starting with making sure you're not leaving bigger decisions for later in the day. Instead, try to work through them in the morning when you have more brain power. To not only cut down indecision, but also to help general organization would be to make batch decisions. This might look like planning all your outfits for the week on a Sunday, or deciding which days you want to work out. Making a bunch of decisions at once and planning ahead helps to lower fatigue. Finally, try to continuously practice making smaller decisions with confidence and commitment to prepare for the bigger challenges. Try new things, have some confidence, and take risks. You won't get very far unless you try something you somewhat normally wouldn't. Find out what works best for you. Sometimes we overthink and fear we'll make the wrong decision or regret our choice. But when we come to terms with ourselves, we'll soon realize there's no such thing as a wrong decision. We have two overall options when making a choice. Either one, you make the choice that you're 100% proud of and satisfied with. Or two, you're learning something new from that experience, which will help you make better decisions in the future. In the end, if you're also feeling indecisive, think of a few things I just mentioned. And remember, you don't need to feel all this stress just to reach that perfect satisfaction. Just make that decision. Thank you.